Brighter skies coming in behind. It's a temporary respite. We have got another storm system making its way in across the western side of the US, and that will continue to feed its way further eastward. So there'll be some snow over the high ground, heavy rain coming into a good part of California, temperatures struggling to 14 Celsius in San Francisco. Nothing like the kind of struggle we'll see in DC over the next couple of days, and also in Denver. 11 Celsius, the top temperature here as we go on through Sunday afternoon. Come Monday, we will struggle to reach freezing. We're getting highs of around 11 degrees in DC at that time, but cooler, fresher air coming into that eastern side of the US, and that wintry mix will continue into the Canadian Maritimes. Come further south, it's not too bad. 18 Celsius there for Dallas. We'll take that. That's not bad at all. Dry, and that dry weather stretching its way down across a good part of the Caribbean. We have still got some rather lively showers across the western side of the Caribbean, so the chance of some showers just around Nicaragua and Costa Rica, but for the most, it's dry.
Everton, many thanks. You were the news hour from Al Jazeera. Just ahead, China steps up security in Beijing and Shanghai as protesters there call for protests similar to those in the Middle East. And rotating doors, Japanese media say that the foreign minister has decided to resign. We'll have the latest on that in just a moment.
If you're a Nokia user, you can download Al Jazeera's news widget from Nokia's Ovi store. The news widget, available on compatible Nokia devices, gives users quick and easy access to real-time news updates from Al Jazeera English. See the world in real time. Al Jazeera Mobile.
All the news, all the time. AlJazeera.net/English.
The relocation of the Ahmadiyya has magnified the issue of religious intolerance in Indonesia. Is this inevitable in a multicultural society? And is the government turning a blind eye? 101 East at this time on Al Jazeera.
From local traders to international finance, it's commerce that makes the world go round. For global companies and developing markets, communication is the currency. And information is the most valuable commodity. Counting the cost at this time on Al Jazeera.
Hello again, this is Al Jazeera. Adrian Finnegan with you here in Doha. Our top stories this hour. Colonel Gaddafi's forces have launched a counterattack on the central Libyan coast. Airstrikes and ground battles are reported in Bin Jawaz, Ras Lanuf and Misrata. Protests are continuing in the island kingdom of Bahrain. A large crowd has gathered outside the Prime Minister's office and at the Pearl roundabout in the capital. And in Yemen, at least 47 pro-democracy protesters have been wounded in clashes with government loyalists. The fighting happened in Ib city, south of the capital, Sana'a. Now, Japanese media say that the foreign minister, Seiji Maehara, has decided to resign. Maehara had been criticized for accepting political donations from a foreign national. Now, on Friday, the foreign minister said that he'd accepted donations from a Korean resident in Japan. He added that he'd done so unknowingly. Al Jazeera's Steve Chow joins us now on the line from Osaka. This is quite a blow for the government, isn't it, Steve?
Yes, very much. In and of itself, this is not perhaps major international news, but when seen in the greater context, it is of major concern. The ruling DPJ party here in Japan, along with its Prime Minister Naoto Kan, has been under increasing pressure to either resign or call for a snap election. Approval ratings for this party, which was elected into government for the first time after 50 years in 2009, has not lived up to many of its election promises. It has been seen as slow going in terms of tackling major issues such as debt. And so the pressure has been on from the opposition parties for Naoto Kan, the Prime Minister, to either resign or call for an election. What does this mean? Well, Japan is the third largest economy in the world, and this continued political malaise, this on and off fighting between the opposition parties and the ruling party has slowed down the progress of economic recovery in this country, and that has a big spin-off effect to other economies around the world. Already in recent weeks, we've seen ratings agencies like Standard and Poor's, along with Moody's, downgrade the prospects for the economy here in Japan, and that, of course, has major spin-off effects for other global economies.
And Steve, just put it into context for us. What is it exactly that the foreign minister is alleged to have done wrong? What's caused his resignation?
Well, here in Japan, it is illegal to accept foreign donations from a foreign national, and in this case, this was a Korean living here in Japan. He received about $2,000 in political donations, and so because of that, because it is illegal, the opposition party has seized on this fact and has forced his resignation. It is simply the one of a number of scandals that have hit the DPJ party in recent days. Some of the other scandals include the fact that some of the top ministers were reportedly seen in some of the more shady sort of cafes and bars of Tokyo, and have spent a great deal of government taxpayers' dollars in meetings in these bars. Other facts are in-party fighting that has been going on between different factions within the DPJ. All this has gone against their promises of change in which they were elected in 2009, and it has led to a great deal of voter dissatisfaction and a belief that this party that came in under an Obama-style promise of change has pretty much followed suit with the old party, the LDP, here in Japan.
Steve, many thanks for that. Steve Cho reporting live there from Osaka. Back now to Libya. The flood of people leaving the country for neighboring Tunisia appears, at least for the moment, to be subsiding. But numbers are still posing a challenge for aid agencies. Joining me now live from Ras Jdir on the Tunisian side of the border with Libya is Firas Kayal, who's the Public Information Officer for the UN's refugee agency, the UNHCR. Good to talk to you once again. So now that we can actually see you, last time we spoke you were on the phone with us. Tell us about what we can see behind you, the humanitarian situation there right now.
Well, as you can see, Adrian, we are right now in UNHCR's camp, which is hosting right now between 12 to 15,000 persons. The majority of them are persons from Bangladesh, but there are other nationalities as well. These were the persons who have crossed the border from Libya into Tunisia in the past several days. In the past week, we've had more than 70,000 persons, mainly Egyptians. The total number of people who have crossed the border, by the way, is some 100,000 persons. Around 50,000 Egyptians have been evacuated back to their countries in the past several days. Now here, the persons from Bangladesh, it's a bit more difficult with their case because the flights to Bangladesh are 8 hours, not just 2 hours to Egypt. But UNHCR and IOM are right now trying their best to arrange a chartered flight that will take these people back home.
Is there any sense of crisis there? Can the UNHCR cope with the number of people that are arriving at that border crossing? You mentioned that there's been a lull in numbers of late. Has that allowed you to get enough supplies in to prepare for if numbers begin to rise again?
Yes, we have flown in many flights that are